हरे कृष्णा नाव्या।
हरे कृष्णा माता जी, कैसे हो?
ठीक ठीक, आप बताओ।
देखो, सबसे पहले मैं आई हूँ।
देखे, मैं आपके पीछे आ गई।
कैसे, आप ठीक हो?
हाँ ठीक है, रिकॉर्डिंग हो रही है, बात करते हैं वहां पे व्हाट्सएप पे।
ओके ओके ओके।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण।
Krishna, respected devotees, am I audible?
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So before Maharaj turns up, I think Damni, are you Damni present?
Yes, 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 Prabhu.
So I would say, did you try to contact Maharaj?
Yes, he will be here within 10 to 15 minutes. He just texted me that he will be there.
Fair enough. That's
We are
good
10
for
to
us.
15 minutes. Yes.
That's good for us. That's good for us. That's good for us. There are a few things because I understand many of us are new to, like many of them might not be new, like new to some etiquettes and protocols. Okay. So one of the first things whenever you address Maharaj, okay, address him as Maharaj, not Prabhu. Remember? Okay, I am writing it on chat. There's no harm in calling somebody Prabhu, but this is an etiquette. Okay, there's no harm. So don't blame yourself if you say, Prabhu, oh, what did I do? Now I'm going to go to burn in hell. That's not going to happen, but it's better. Something to say. It's just like if you call Damni Prabhu, you're not going to go to burn in hell. Okay, it's good. That's okay. Anybody I'm serving is Prabhu. If I'm serving Damni, she is Prabhu. That's okay. But the etiquette is to call is Mataji. Okay. So remember this thing is the first thing because that happens many times when I was quite I was quite stuck with that that thing that have happened. First and foremost, this thing. Second, obviously, I would like to take this opportunity. I can see many of our previous year students here. Jai. So yeah, I see more previous year students than the current year students here. So I don't know if the students didn't get the message correctly. If it's required, Damni, you can make a group call. That's the right opportunity to make a group call at this moment. And they may not be knowing that, may have forgotten. And most of the students, this is the time they come from university and they sleep. So that is that calls will come. Wake up, sleeping souls. Wake up, sleeping souls. Jeev jago. Okay. All right. So another thing, it is quite desirable that if you are asking question, if only for that moment, turn on your video so that he can see. See, this is what happens when I remember last time I visited Pakistan and this complex people have. Oh, will they ever recognize me? Oh, will such and such proper disciple? I met him, but will he recognize me? Or even in some cases, they have taken initiations, and then when my spiritual master is going to recognize me, yes, he might. He will have a better chance recognizing you if they can see your face. Okay, so your chance of being recognized goes up by 200% if they can see your face. Okay, so when you are asking a question, try to turn on the video. It is otherwise it is also not very respectful actually, So the conversation for that moment, I'm not saying now. So I recognize most of you. Don't worry about it. Preeti, Hare Krishna Vajidatna. But so far Maharaj is concerned, you'll be meeting him for the first time. So just just see to it that happens. Okay. There are a couple of things. And I will take this opportunity to also make a small announcement. Just something which I already have sent to the group. There are quite a few students in this current Bhakti Shastri who I'm trying to, I'm trying to identify so that I can relate to later on. It is required, it will be required in due course of time. Yeah, just like I can see Jagdish here. So, is Jagdish and Jaidev the same person? No, I'm not talking about Jagdish Girdhari. Jagdish Girdhari is my friend. I know him. I'm not talking about Jagdish Girdhari. There's another Jagdish here. I know Jagdish Girdhari. Forget it. I don't need to see him even. Name is enough. But I can see another Jagdish, and Jagdish was present during Monday and Tuesday and he skipped on Wednesday. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah. So I have sent a message in the group. Please respond to that message. I'm tagged in those devotees. First and foremost, I'm trying to find out those devotees who are attending, but I am not aware of. I mean, I do not know the person. That's my misfortune. And then there are quite a few devotees there. They are there, but I don't see them attending, and I don't know them either. So I will in the third stage, I'll try to find out why they are there in the first place. Okay. So because say the Bhakti Shastri, this is supposed to be having not more than 35 students. It has crossed 50, and the regular attendance is of around 35. I mean, that's how it goes to. When the session starts, it starts with 20 plus. Then after half an hour, it comes to 30-35, and stays there for 1 hour like that. And in the last hour, then it starts dwindling again, and it comes to 20-25. So that is I'm seeing, that's how it's working. Okay. So I just wanted to know what's going on. So, and there are certain devotees who were kind of very eager to join the Bhakti Shastri, but we had a tab and we closed it. Okay. That's understandable. We closed it. So now I just wanted to figure out if there are certain students who are just there for the sake of being there, but they are not interested, or either not interested or unable to take part in that course. Maybe I can speak to them separately, and they might be want to have the course the next time. Okay. So then I can invite those devotees, because they've already missed the first week. It's not going to be easy for them, but still they can catch up. And after the first week, nobody can come in. I mean, those who wish to go out, they will go out regardless. They're not going to seek my permission. They don't need my permission either. So that's the reason I'm trying to figure out. So in case you find my message in your in your WhatsApp, in your WhatsApp, don't feel intimidated. Okay. Don't be scared. Don't feel intimidated. I'm equally scared. Okay. Please help me out. Oh, I can see Savita Maji. Hare Krishna. Jai. Okay. So Ashwarya is there. Okay. Good. Now let's wait for March. Hare Krishna, Savita. So
Hare
nice to
Krishna,
see you.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Neelam Maji.
Then with Pranam.
Prabhu would be, I hope Prabhu would be joining in his own time, right?
Yes, actually, he's having office right now. He will be coming back. Maybe he's on his way, so he'll join us.
So being Maharaj being late has its own advantage.
So I'm there for him. So he will join, and I hope so. He'll join soon. He said, "I'll try to manage and I'll join." You don't want to miss that class.
So, Damni Maji, do you want me to call Maharaj?
Yes, Prabhu. What did you say?
Do you want me to call Maharaj?
No.
Okay. Where is he?
He
Prasad
is here.
here?
Yes.
Hi, Prasad Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
I thought I'll pay my respect to Maharaj and then be there for some time.
Yes. But then, the devotees, they're always eager to like meet you, you see, always eager to meet you. Whenever Rasal is here, Rasal Prabhu is in Vrindavan.
Yes.
So, yes. Now, I've got so many devotees here, Prabhu. Yeah, they are very much interested to meet you. Sakhi Prem Mataji, Hare Krishna. Finally. Finally, you are here. Hare Krishna Mahaji. Please accept my humble processes. So, yeah, we're still waiting for Maharaj. It might take some time. Yeah, but like, we have got so many devotees sitting over here now. To resist Kasendo. Yeah, Rasal Prabhu will be, I think,
Yes,
Rasal
Prabhuji.
Prabhu is
Yes,
facilitating
Prabhuji.
a unit, right?
Sorry.
Damni? Rasal Prabhu will be facilitating a unit, right?
Yes.
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 My name is nowhere so far. I'm on the
Really?
I'm backup so far.
Should be there. Should be there. Rasal Prabhu is very high on demand. Hare Krishna Kishori Mataji. So, yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Prabhuji.
Madhavan, good to see you, Hare Krishna. Yeah, you have my attention. Thank you. So, anyway, like, how many of you know about Maharaj? Any
Hare
ideas
Krishna,
about
Prabhu.
Maharaj? Hare, Hina Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dapnam.
Hare
So nice to
Krishna,
see you.
Pranam.
So nice to see you. Nice to see you, Mataji. Very nice to see you. Okay. By any chance, Damni Mataji, Jagdish Prabhu? Anybody here, Jagdish Girdhari Prabhu? Do you know Neeta Mataji? Do you have any like talking terms of working relations with her?
Not much.
Really. Not
Yeah.
really. Okay. Damni, you might not be knowing her, right? I messaged her yesterday, but she may not be. Let me see if I can. I was just thinking maybe if she can be there and she can introduce Maharaj, that would be good. Let her. She's the only disciple I know of Maharaj there back in Pakistan. So let me see. I did message her. So I don't think many of you know about Maharaj. There's this website is also already there. We sent that link, but the topic which Maharaj will be like addressing is what he has lived through all his life. The Varnasrama system, that is practically the goal of his life. So he has made it the goal of his life. I mean, different, as we will be listening to different speakers, and we will see that all these devotees who will be meeting during our as they have a particular goal through which they see that is how they at work. Oh, Nita Mataji is at work. Tough luck. All right. So, all right. So then that leaves me to address Maharaj, or introduce Maharaj. So these devotees, the other devotees also is going to come, just like Madan Mohan Prabhu, and who is the next? Damni, any idea? Who is the next we will be inviting?
Premanjan too, I guess.
No. Premanjan is the facilitator. I'm talking about guest speakers. It's like Maharaj is the guest speaker.
Bhakti Raghava Swami Maharaj.
Bhakti Gaurvani Maharaj. Yeah, so he's the next one. So again, just like Bhakti Gaurvani Maharaj. So he like most of these devotees, like very senior and also advanced devotees, not just senior, advanced devotees, and many of them still proper disciples. The idea was like while they are still here, we can take full advantage of that. Bhakti Gaurvani Maharaj will be there. It's like let's speak about Bhakti Raghava Swami Maharaj. So it's like in Cambodia. What possibly is he doing in Cambodia? In Cambodia also, he has come up with, I remember when we went to his ashram, he has a very small kind of like a farm project. That's what like he does. Either opening or supporting, mostly supporting, inspiring and supporting farm projects. You see, so that they can live a more like natural way of life, which is one of the 7 purposes of ISKCON, to lead a more natural way of life. So that is what. Radha Kirpamaji, good to see you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
मुझे थोड़ा इंतजार करना पड़ेगा, महाराज आए नहीं अभी. Okay, so that's what Maharaj aims to do. He has got so many farm projects across the world, and they are the most difficult service, because nobody wants to like really take care of farm projects, and nobody really wants to do this service. But like it has been, we have heard of such a thing that Prabhupada at one point in time said, we just hearsay, we have heard like that Prabhupada said, like, my 50% mission is this, establishment of Varnasrama. We have heard about it. I don't know how much, like, because I haven't really read that, but yeah, senior devotees do repeat that. There are many eyewitnesses who have heard that. So anyway, so then yeah, but we do understand that one of the, if you see Prabhupada's earliest writings, way before we started ISKCON, as part of the League of Devotees, Prabhupada wrote an article called Gita Nagari. And in that Gita Nagari article, Prabhupada is talking about what he aims to do, and which he ultimately did. Let me see if I can still find the Gita Nagari. Maybe Maharaj will open up about that. Yeah, I can still see this here. Which back to Bhagavad? I think it's a different back to Bhagavad. So
Hare
Maharaj,
Krishna, Prabhu Maharaj is here.
Maharaj is here.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, please accept my humble Muspaji. Maharaj, all grace to Prabhupada Maharaj. Says Maharaj, it's our
Hare Krishna.
very, very good fortune to have His Holiness Bhakti Raghava Swami Maharaj amongst us. And we were discussing about Bhakti Raghava Swami Maharaj and his mission in service of Prabhupada, of Varnasrama. And these Maharaj devotees are like almost everybody is from Pakistan except me and Rasal. So, so yes, Maharaj. So, yeah, I did inform Nitya Mataji about you, but I think she's stuck in hospital. Maharaj, these devotees are like, many of them, they have like, they have a first ever encounter with the Swami. So they have never seen, yeah. So Maharaj, if they are like impudent, please forgive me. And it's my, yeah, that would be our lack of training that we couldn't. But this is Bhakti Raghava Swami Maharaj, Prabhupada's senior disciple, and now in ISKCON, he is a figure to reckon with because of his services with the Varnasrama ministry. Practically, he has, like, right from the scratch, he has taken it to the position where it is. Still have lots of challenges, but like how Bhagavad Gita and Varnasrama are intertwined, that's what Maharaj is going to. And this is Maharaj, the first week of Bhakti Shastri, these students. Many of the students are already Bhakti Shastris. So they have they came running to hear from you. Thank you, Maharaj.
Yes.
Over to you. Without further ado, over to you, Maharaj.
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity and for the association with all the devotees present. Let me begin by offering my humble obeisances to His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurindritam Jina Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Jaina Bhutele Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Pascheta Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Radhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Sri Prabhupada Ki. And Jai to all the devotees who are attending this session this evening. I need to know how long I should speak and at what point we can be taking either comments or questions.
Maharaj, as long as it takes to like in your like view, it can
Okay, I'll just
this term also many of you might not be aware of. Many
yes,
of the
yes,
devotees might not even be aware of this.
yes. Okay, so
And if Maharaj, just one more request,
correct.
if
Yes.
that can be
Okay.
connected to the 7 purposes of ISKCON. That's all.
If it can be connected with what?
To the 7 purposes of ISKCON.
Can you kindly
7?
Oh, the 7 purposes of ISKCON. Yes.
Yes,
Got
sir.
it, got it. Yeah, of course.
That's it, Maharaj.
Well, everything is meant to be connected with the 7 purposes of ISKCON. And of course, the very first of those is to systematically study and also propagate the teachings of our Vedic culture, especially through Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And then other purposes are outlined among the 7 purposes. One of them, I believe it is number 6, stands out more specifically in terms of establishing communities that are closely connected with the whole concept and ideology as often presented to us by Srila Prabhupada of simple living and high thinking. And although the name Varnasrama is not specifically mentioned in any of those 7 purposes, we can understand that this refers to the whole. I remember maybe 2 years now, I was invited to give a presentation in Mayapur. I believe it was at the Mayapur Institute, where I gave a presentation outlining what we call bullet points. Bullet points. There are 5 actually main themes, I would say, 5 main themes that are interconnected, and all of them can be substantiated as well from various verses from both the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Since that presentation, more recently, in the last few months, I had the opportunity to present the topic of Varnasrama in Ukraine and other places, of course, but in Ukraine, especially on the 31st of January, which happened to be the appearance of Nityananda Prabhu, the devotees in Ukraine at New Mayapur, at the New Mayapur community in Ukraine, not to be confused with the New Mayapur in France. So at the New Mayapur community in Ukraine, they were actually inaugurating their Varnashram college. And they have invited me to give some presentation. They have named their Varnashram college Ahimsa College. And it was during the few days I was present there, I had the opportunity to present 5 PowerPoints that maybe later on I can share. But for this evening, I would like to just summarize these 5, I call them bullet points, which I believe are absolutely essential for devotees to to understand, so that the whole concept and ideology of Varnasrama Dharma can more clearly come in the picture. And let me begin by the first of those 5 points, which is very essential, and I would say in many ways lacking within our community of devotees, lacking of understanding. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna at different times explains how this knowledge, Raja Vidya, Rajaguyam, Pavitram, Idam, Uttamam. It is Guhyam and Uttamam, highest knowledge and most confidential knowledge. It is also mysterious, as we know. Bhakto Sime Sakachiti Rahasyam Gita Uttamam. What we need to understand is that not only is the spiritual science of bhakti, the gist, of course, of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, nectar devotion, is bhakti, the science of bhakti. Or as Prabhupada would say, the complete science of bhakti. Now, parallel to this science of bhakti, that more recently I am coining, it's not my invention. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks about Jaiva Dharma. In Bhakti Sastri, I believe you possibly might be learning about Jaiva Dharma, one of the important books written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, whereby he, of course, deals with the subject matter of the jiva. So Jaiva Dharma, the dharma of the jiva. Now, inasmuch as that in itself is a very confidential subject matter, very mysterious subject matter, also the other dimension of dharma, and that's the point I'm trying to make here, there are 2 levels or 2 dimensions or 2 features of dharma that are absolutely essential to distinguish and to understand how they need to go in a parallel way as long as we are here in the material world, and especially as long as we are in any way connected even slightly with any of the modes of material nature. To quote one of many important statements made by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this one is from his Sajjana Toshani, whereby he mentions, and I paraphrase, that Varnasrama Dharma is for the Vaishnavas in their conditioned state. Varnasrama is for the Vaishnava in their conditioned state. So if we take this statement to heart, we will begin to understand, or we will begin to accept, at least theoretically, that there is that other dimension of dharma that we call Varnasrama Dharma. Means one dharma is known as spiritual Swadharma, dealing with the jiva, and the other is dealing with the body and the mind, material Swadharma. So that's a whole topic. I have a PowerPoint that very clearly analyzes the three levels of Sambandha, Abhidaya, and Prayojana. Sambandha, Abhidaya, Prayojana for Jaiva Dharma, and the same concept of Sambandha, Abhidaya, Prayojana for Varnasrama Dharma. That's a whole presentation in itself. We will not get into right now, possibly at some later stage. So that's the first of the bullet points. We need to understand, and Srila Prabhupada again and again emphasized the need for us. I think many of you have heard or read this conversation between Srila Prabhupada and it was Hariswari Prabhu and other devotees discussing on the topic of Varnasrama, and the statement was being made by Hariswari at the time. Srila Prabhupada, I thought that we are followers of Lord Chaitanya. Simply we should concentrate on chanting the holy name, on practicing bhakti devotional service, Vaishnava. We are Vaishnavas. Immediately Srila Prabhupada corrected him by telling it is not so easy to be Vaishnava. And Prabhupada continued in the same conversation, possibly follow the following line, that in order to become Vaishnava, Varnasrama is the ideal system because it is created by Krishna. So this is this whole topic in itself. I'm just giving a basic idea that these two levels or these two features, these two dimensions of dharma, we need to understand, and the more we understand, actually, we will of course apply in our personal lives. Now, let me come to the second point, second bullet point, which is that our Vedic culture that we refer to as Sanatana Dharma, and just to add or connect again to the first point, both Jaiva Dharma and Varnasrama Dharma are directly connected with Sanatana Dharma, meaning both of them are Sanatan, both of them are based on eternal principles, unchanging, meant to be unchanging, eternal scientific principles, again, on the spiritual level and the material level. So coming to our second point, Vedic culture is an agrarian-based culture. And this is not easy to understand for most of us. Why? Because most of us live in modern day contemporary world, years 200 years actually, since the days of the industrialized, mechanized, urbanized, has literally uprooted millions of people from their more natural lifestyle, which was in villages. We all know there has been, there continues to be an exodus from villages to the cities. And the more we understand how Vedic culture is meant to be an agrarian lifestyle or based on agrarian lifestyle, means it is meant to be a village based lifestyle, which automatically means, of course, connected with cows, connected with land. And to help us understand that more easily, naturally, we need to think about Vrindavan, Vrindavan village. Uh, what Krishna, what Krishna performed his pastime in the village of Vrindavan, which is, we know from Shastra, is a replica of the original Vrindavan in the spiritual world, the original Goloka Vrindavan. So it means that the vast majority of people are meant to live that lifestyle. Uh, only a small percentage of the population are meant to live in cities. Vedic culture is not against cities. Dwarka was a city, Hastinapur. There were different big cities, but they were Vedic cities built on Vedic principles, none of which we find today in modern day cities. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada mentioned on a number of occasions how modern day cities, modern day civilization is a doomed civilization because it's built on artificial, unsustainable principles and practices. So this is not easy to understand, or at least maybe theoretically we can begin to understand, but to put into practice is a whole other challenge. I mean, it's a challenge to understand it even theoretically. If we read sections, some of the purports in the seventh canto, beginning from chapter 11 up to 15, which are the 5 chapters where Srila Narada Muni gives a whole, we could say, dissertation on the subject matter of Varnasrama Dharma. Srila Prabhupada very clearly explains how majority of householders are meant to be making their livelihood through agriculture or agriculture-related activities. Which means that actually we as a society, ISKCON society, and the general population eventually should return to this more simple, natural lifestyle. And therefore, we are very soon launching a campaign or a global initiative that we are naming as Make Vrindavan Villages, because that's the need of the hour. We need to show by example, we as devotees, we as a society, that actually this is, if we want to save our family members, our children, our future generations, the planet itself,
I think there's a network glitch.
Mother Nature, all the other different, olive maltreated and desecrated in so many ways, then we have to return to our roots. We have to return to this natural lifestyle, which again is in high thinking. So that that's the second major, let's say, bullet point. The third one, intimately connected with the second, there are three gifts of nature described by Grandfather Bhishmadev in the Mahabharata. When he is speaking to Yudhishthira Maharaj, explaining how the Lord has given to humanity these three gifts, whereby, if properly honored, protected, and even worshipped, we can become happy, we can become healthy, and we can become wise. So obviously, everyone wants to be happy. Everyone wants to be healthy. Um, and the more simple way to do that is by understanding the importance of these three gifts of nature, which are essential for any society, for any nation to actually succeed. And you will immediately be able to understand. In the order given by Grandfather Bhishmadev, the first gift of nature is Mother Cow. Um, all the three gifts of nature are identified as mothers. Mother Cow is the first, second, Mother Nature, land. And the third is Mother Saraswati, or knowledge. So Mother Cow, the original cow in the spiritual world, is Mother Surabhi. All species of cows come from Mother Surabhi. And therefore, she nourishes. Gava Pratistabhutanam. Cows sustain all living entities, not only human beings. When there will no longer be cows in a country, in a nation, or even in a village, within a short time, that village or that country will not be able to properly sustain itself. So, like an ordinary mother who nourishes physically with her breast milk the child after birth, and emotionally by giving her love and affection to the child, Mother Cow also nourishes. She nourishes us physically through the milk and different milk products that she gives, or that we derive from the milk. And she nourishes us physically also in terms of enabling the soil to be fertile. She nourishes in many ways, in addition to that, in terms of emotionally, simply having a cow, being with a cow, one even
Since Maharaj is really having a hard time with the internet connection.
the mode of goodness. It's Krishna's grand plan to actually help the conditioned souls who are generally in Kali Yuga below the mode of goodness, isn't it? Kalo Shudra Sambhava. In Kali Yuga, everyone's in the mode of ignorance or passion. And therefore, we are meant to live with cows. One of the reasons is that they will help us simply by being with them. They will help us to come to the mode of goodness. That's the third bullet point. And the other two, they're all interconnected. The fourth one is in reference to Chatur Vidya. There are four standard scientific um, areas of knowledge. Vidya means knowledge. Vidya means also sometimes science. There are actually four Vedic sciences that make up actually the curriculum, Vedic curriculum. And when Srila Prabhupada requested way back in 1974 that we establish immediately Varnasrama colleges wherever we have temples or projects, he wanted that these standard subject matters be introduced. So the first of the four sciences is called in Sanskrit Anvikshiki. Anvikshiki means the science of philosophy, and it's broken down into Sankhya, Yoga, and Tarka. So that's a whole subject matter in itself, which is the beginning, just like when Krishna and Balaram, after leaving Vrindavan, went to Mathura. So Vasudeva and Devaki, who are Kshatriya by nature, sent Krishna and Balaram to Gurukula. And the first thing they learned actually was Anvikshiki, the four Vedas, the philosophical aspect of our Vedic culture, Shruti, Smriti Shastra. Second of the four sciences is called Trayi. Trayi is that means the science of education actually for Brahmanas. There are 14, Chaturdasa Vidya, 14 standard books of knowledge, still taught in many of the traditional gurukulas in India. The third science is referred to as Dandaniti, that is the science of governance or the science of polity or politics for training and educating Kshatriyas. And the fourth science is called Varta, that is the science of economics. And in the Vedic culture, economy, actual economy, the only actual sustainable economy is referred to in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishi Gorakshavanijam Vaisha Karma Swabhavajam. Krishi, agriculture, natural agriculture, and Goraksha, protection of cows. So these four sciences are practically unknown in modern day society. I mean, you go to any college or university, they don't teach these subjects. And what is most unfortunate is that they're largely, if not mostly, also unknown to the majority of our devotees because we've not introduced Varnashram College. At best, we are teaching the first different subjects related to the first of the four sciences, but the other three we are neglecting. So that was the fourth. And the fifth, which is it's kind of a turnabout. In the beginning, some discussion regarding Gita Nagari. So the fourth one is specifically dealing, again, something that many devotees are less aware of, what is called the four movements. Four movements or four phases within our ISKCON society. Srila Prabhupada, in his 1956 Back to Godhead magazine, printed an essay called Gita Nagari. And within that essay, and also even before publishing the essay, 7 years before, in 1949, there's a letter which is still in the folio, in the database, whereby Srila Prabhupada identifies and speaks about these very same four movements. And it is my conviction,
Maharaj. Huh?
it is my firm conviction that within our society, amongst devotees, every one of us should understand these four divisions because they're directly connected with what we are meant to do and where we are meant to go with all of our different preaching activities. And you'll understand as I just briefly, and that will be the last portion of my presentation. After that, we can open up for some comments and questions. So what are the four movements of the four movements? Sankirtan movement, referring to the chanting of the holy name in public, and also distribution of transcendental literatures, a system that was followed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years ago when he introduced the chanting of the holy name in the streets of Navadvip, and the very same process that Srila Prabhupada followed when he introduced the holy name in Thompson Square Park in New York. Second movement, Prabhupada calls it temple worship movement, establishing centers where people who hear the holy name, who receive some transcendental literature can come, and they can actually be introduced to that personality, Krishna, in a temple. The third movement, Prabhupada called it spiritual initiation movements. By spiritual initiation movement, Prabhupada refers to training and education that we can provide to those who are living in our temples or those who are congregational members who can gradually become more committed to the point of taking initiation and become part of Krishna's eternal spiritual family. And of course, the fourth movement, Srila Prabhupada gave a name which is initially not so easy to understand. He called it classless society movement. Classless, no classes. By classless, Srila Prabhupada meant everyone, regardless of where one may be situated, either as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, or within the ashrams, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. Everyone is meant to be engaged in bhakti, devotional service to Krishna. So in that sense, everyone is focused on the same activity. When that is present, then there will be harmony within that system of Varnasrama. And therefore, the word Daivi or Daiva Varnasrama is a more recent expression that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as well as our own founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada, used. Daiva Varnasrama is therefore not to be simply a material activity. It is based on material science, material division of society, based on, as Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, Chatur Varnamaya system of quality and activity or work. So Daiva Varnasrama is meant to be for the devotees. We're not advocating ordinary Varnasrama, which is referred to when devoid of bhakti as asuric varnashrama. Unfortunately, in India, for the last so many centuries, since the time of Lord Buddha, practically speaking, we have a very distorted version of varnashrama, and therefore, naturally, Prabhupada calls it the vitiated caste system. Means adulterated. The original system, Krishna's system, referred to in the Bhagavad Gita, is where all individuals are meant to be focused and connected on Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the activity is meant to be that of bhakti or devotional service. And within that system, and I'll close on this point, again, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains how when we perform those seemingly material activities within the Varnas, especially when those activities are performed as a service to Krishna for the pleasure and satisfaction of Krishna, as Arjuna did, being a Kshatriya, he took up his responsibility as a Kshatriya and fought, knowing that this was Krishna's desire and for Krishna's pleasure. So Prabhupada spoke of the importance of Varnasrama, quoting from Shastra, and he wanted that we, in a parallel manner, introduce both of these activities on a spiritual level in terms of the spirit soul, activities of the soul, devotional service, and material activities in terms within the system of Varna and Ashrama. When dovetail in the service of Krishna, they also become, as Prabhupada would often say in the early days, they become Krishnized. They don't incur karmic reaction. I think I will stop here for now, and if there's any comment or question, we can spend 10 minutes or something. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Maharaj, there is a long list of people, long list of devotees, Maharaj, having questions. Long list of devotees having questions, Maharaj. Yes,
Well,
Jayat, have
well,
a hand up.
we do have to, we do have to. Go ahead, let's start.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please explain below essences. Maharaj, as you mentioned in the second point that like ISKCON society should revert to village life and all, won't it affect preaching? Like reverting to village style and everything.
Okay,
Won't it?
good question. Good question. See, we need to understand two things. We are not advocating that everyone leave the city and go into villages. We need to remain in the cities for preaching purposes only. Cities are meant to be a place where we preach, because the majority of people are in the cities. But we should also understand that living in the villages, reviving Vedic culture, which is an agrarian-based culture, as we explained, that's also preaching. That's also preaching in itself. And Srila Prabhupada also gave instruction, which we find in this book, very important book called Speaking About Varnasrama. He gave instruction that even those who are living in the village, they should also not lose the preaching spirit. They should go by bullock cart to villages in the north and south, east and west. They should bring books and murdangas and cartels, and they should also be preaching there. So in the villages, there are these two forms of preaching. The same preaching that is going on in the city, and also the very activities of living this more simplified lifestyle. To put it, or to summarize it briefly, cities are meant to be our preaching basis. If we are not preaching in the cities, we should not be living in the cities. I repeat this. If we are not engaged in frontline preaching in the cities, we have no business being in modern day cities that are demoniac and that are putting immense challenges for our very survival as devotees. So our preaching cities are meant to be our preaching basis, whereas country, village is meant to be our living basis. That's where we should raise our children. Because we don't understand what is Vedic education, the majority of our parents, the majority of our devotee parents, they don't know what is Vedic education. Vedic education for the vast majority of our children is meant to be, as Krishna and Balaram displayed or showed us, is meant to be taken up in villages. That's a whole big topic in itself, but I'm just very briefly trying to respond to your question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jitika,
Hare Krishna.
Jitika, go ahead.
Hare Krishna
Any-
Maharaj. That my
Yes.
school since. Maharaj, I have a question. That in our first statement, you told that Varnasrama and Jiva Ashrama. The Varnasrama for the souls and devotees, and Jiva Ashrama for the bodies. Can you please kindly clear it?
I'm not sure if I'm quite getting the question. Varnashrama is for everyone. Daiva, I made the distinction between Daiva Varnashrama, which is an expression used by our Vaishnava Acharyas, is meant to be focused on serving Krishna. That's the meaning of the word Daiva. Daiva means divine. And for us, divine means bhakti, isn't it? So, in other words, as devotees, this is the kind of varnashrama we should be following, Daiva Varnasrama, where all activities, regardless of which varna we are in, regardless of which ashram we belong to, everything is meant to be focused on Krishna. And anything that is not focused on Krishna, that is having different also known as Asurik Varnashrama. And of course, that is not for devotees. That is for materialistic people. So this is what our Vaishnavacharyas, this is what our Shastra also recommend, that we practice this type of Varnashrama that is connected, samsiddhi haritoshanam, so that we can, at the end of life, Ante Narayana Smriti, be able to remember Krishna, given established system of Varnashrama, Daiva Varnashrama. I hope that
Yes,
clarifies.
I got it.
Okay.
Madhavan,
Yes.
huh?
Next.
Turn on your microphone, Madhavan. Turn on your microphone.
Sorry. Hare Krishna, Dana Pranam Maharaj. My question was
Yes.
that I heard a story of Bhakti Siddhant Maharaj that he introduced the color
of this brownish color of brahmacharis. But he didn't change the color of the japa bed because he said that the mala, the japa is not included in this varnashram dharam. So why?
The mala, japamala, is not included in Varnasrama.
I guess he's talking about the color, Mara.
Talking about what?
I guess he's talking about the color. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's bead bag was white.
Color.
It was not saffron. Maybe that is what he's talking about, as far as I understand.
Yes.
I'm still not getting the question.
Maharaj, I am saying that he said that mala does not include in this varnashram dharma. It is apart from that. So why?
Well,
Why japa
it's
is
the
not
first
part
time
of
I hear
Varnashrama?
japamala. I would have to. You would have to give the reference and quotation and the context. I've never heard this before. This is this is not consistent with what is taught in the Bhagavad Gita. Varnashrama is not something separate from chanting the holy name within the lifestyle of Varnashrama. It's actually to even facilitate our chanting the holy name. So I'm not familiar with this quote. I've never heard it before. If you could send me the reference, maybe I can add some comments to that.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yes.
Yes. Naitik, please turn on your microphone first.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams.
Yeah. Yes.
Maharaj, I had a question out of the topic. So my question was that I heard the story of disappearance of Krishna from this world. He got shooted from the arrow at the foot. So it was unintentionally done by a man who was actually shooting an animal, but unintentionally he shot Krishna's foot, and then Krishna's disappeared. But Krishna also said that man that don't think much about that, don't worry much about that. I also showed you on the war, so your karma will not be done. My question was that if we if we uh, if we hurt others unintentionally, like we don't even know that they are gonna hurt. So is that also our karma?
Your question is, if we hurt someone unintentionally, do we get a reaction? Is it?
Yeah, Maharaj, that's a perfect question.
Yes, when we the reaction will be of a different nature than when we hurt somebody intentionally. The laws of nature are very strict. We we may know or may not know, but if we offend someone, even though it was not our intention, some reaction will be there. But in this case, as you were mentioning, Krishna may have excused or prevented that individual from getting what normally would have come as a reaction.
All right. There are many more questions. I don't know. Yes. Neelam. Okay, Neelam Mataji followed by Leela Prashamad.
Hare Krishna Maharaj Ji, Dhamma Pranam. I just want to ask, uh, since we are struggling with bhakti, what type of advice would you give us to stay us connected with the spiritual path?
What exactly is the question?
What advice would you give us if we are struggling to stay spiritually focused?
Okay. Yes. All of us in the material world, at some point in time, um, it's not uncommon that one is struggling because of, Prabhupada would explain, the very polluted atmosphere in which we are living. And therefore, sometimes that struggle becomes possibly more intense, more challenging, at which time we may need to seek out some specific guidance. In general, when we follow the good guidelines that are given by our acharyas, especially the guidelines provided in literatures like the Nectar of Devotion, which is once again giving us a complete science of bhakti or devotional service, beginning with sadhana bhakti and gradually rising to higher levels of bhava bhakti and prema bhakti. Idea is that the more we nicely, properly apply these principles, this generally this should give us sufficient strength to deal with the different obstacles and challenges that come to the nature of the material world. And if at times the situations become very critical, difficult for us individually to deal with, then we should seek guidance from senior Vaishnavas, and they can give us proper advice and proper counsel. Um, that is what Srila Prabhupada would explain. That is why he established this spiritual community of devotees. And of course, it is sometimes challenging as well, even amongst devotees. We should be selective, even in our association with devotees. That's also explained in the Nectar of Instruction by Srila Rupa Goswami. We should be selective with whom we associate, uh, and we should try to find individuals with whom we can reveal our mind, and in this way help us to continue progressing. We should keep in mind also that Krishna will never put his devotee in a situation that is impossible for him or for her to deal with, isn't it? All the challenges that come our way, they are arranged by Krishna, allowed by Krishna, ultimately to help us mature and grow in spiritual life. And either we have ourselves or we can, through the assistance of other Vaishnavas, get the necessary um, strength to overcome whatever obstacles may be there.
Leela Krishna Maji? Still around?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much for the wonderful and enlightening session, first of all. And my question is Maharaj, that how can we harmonize the transcendental position of bhakti with the structured duties of a Varna ashram dharma, like in our personal spiritual life? How can we harmonize them?
How we can harmonize a transcendental, what is it?
A transcendental position of bhakti.
Okay, got it. Yes. Well, the transcendental position of bhakti, when we perform activities of Varnasrama in the mood and the spirit of bhakti, they totally harmonize. The system of Varnasrama is meant to be serving as a support. Actually, there's a wonderful statement in the first canto of the Bhagavatam, chapter 9. Devotees can read it later on. 1:9, 1:9, I believe, 26, the chapter dealing with the departure of Grandfather Bhishmadev. And in the purport, in the first line of the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that because Grandfather Bhishmadev was giving his very first instruction to Yudhishthira Maharaj on the importance of following Varna and Ashrama. Very interesting that this was the actual first instruction he gave to him. And Srila Prabhupada comments in the first line of that purport that this system given by Krishna, created by Krishna of Varnasrama, is meant to accelerate the development of our spiritual qualities. Very clear and totally in line with other statements made by Srila Prabhupada also. So in other words, when we perform these activities within Varnasrama for the pleasure and satisfaction of Krishna, then that is also bhakti. That becomes bhakti. And that serves as an impetus to develop more and more our transcendental nature and our transcendental qualities. So they are complementary to one another. It's not that we, it's not that we abandon those activities. We just perform them with proper consciousness, and those activities also become bhakti. So I think we can take maybe one or two more questions if there are. Otherwise, it's starting to get a little late on this side here.
Yes, Maharaj is there in Cambodia, we understand. But there's Jagdish Girdhari and maybe Jiva Goswami, at least two.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yeah, the first part of my question already Mataji asked. So I would just ask a simple question, like how does
Yes, go ahead.
how does the technology-driven rules fit into the Varnashram Dharma? Since we see many devotees coming from the different backgrounds, highly educated and into the technical rules, so how do we expect them to fit into the Varnashram Dharma? Either they should leave their all the career or the education, or utilize that learning into the devotional service in some way.
Well, we cannot make any, or should not make any blank, let's say, statement on the matter. What we should try to understand is, number one, regardless of where we may be, we should try to perform our activities without being attached to the results and give the results, to Krishna. That's number one. Secondly, we should understand that the whole modern setup, modern civilization, and most of the occupations that the majority of our devotees have are not ideal. They're not really in line with what is recommended in the Shastra. And whenever it is possible to actually take up activities, we speak of prescribed duties. There are Vedic prescribed duties, and there are, duties that are not really prescribed in the Shastra. Factory work is not prescribed in the Shastra. Many devotees are presently working in non-Vedic kind of activities. So we cannot simply immediately give that up, but we should know that there is an ideal model, and we should make some effort to gradually help introduce the changes that are necessary. We cannot do this immediately. Prabhupada told us how the whole modern educational system, is training us to do work which at some point we may not be able to continue doing, even though we may be highly educated. There's problem of unemployment is, especially now with artificial intelligence, more and more people, that includes devotees as well, will be losing their jobs. In other words, that's why it's important to read and study the subject matter through this one particular book. There are other references also, but this one is very relevant, and because it contains 100% the different statements made by Srila Prabhupada. I'm talking about the book speaking about Varnasrama. So I highly recommend that devotees form like study circles every week, spend half an hour or more to read, discuss, and study what Srila Prabhupada spoke about regarding Varnasrama. And Prabhupada very much wanted that we not remain dependent on this artificial lifestyle that we have adopted actually in modern day society. He really expected and wanted us, he warned us in so many ways, so many times as well, that the whole modern setup, being very artificial, can and actually will eventually collapse. So Prabhupada even asked a question to one devotee, are you still going to be in the city when they are no longer functional? So again, I'm not saying we should press the panic button here, but these are subject matters that Prabhupada warned us about, talked about in detail over 50 years ago. And we've not even begun to implement some of the basic instructions in terms of establishing Varnashram colleges where we can begin to understand, okay, well, how do we transition from a non-Vedic lifestyle largely to a more Vedic lifestyle, which is agrarian based. So I would recommend that devotees meet, discuss, read, and try to gradually understand Krishna is in the heart of all of his devotees, of all living entities, and he will help us to do the needful. Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Jiv Goswami Prabhu. Your microphone is still off. Jiv Goswami Prabhu. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes.
Maharaj, I have the question relating to again to our chapter, our viewpoint here, Varnashrama Dharma. What should be the
You have
ideal
a question?
Varan ashram devotees follow according to their age or capability? But what is the ideal Varan? Either is it Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra? Which Varan is for ideal for devotees? What Srila Prabhupada wanted us. Because in preaching, in the history of Pakistan, preaching, devotees are doing better. Um, I can see here in the past 45 years, there has never been a big temple here. Maybe devotees were lacking a lot of things. But nowadays, devotees from the administrative side, or especially from the wage side, are doing better in terms of building the temple. Because in the history of preaching here in Pakistan, the devotees who came to Krishna consciousness, they were from the other backgrounds. But we see Prabhupada had all these qualities, either administration or Vaishya or Brahman. This is why he could spread so much Krishna consciousness all over around the world. But what should be the ideal Varan for any devotee?
What should be the ideal Varna?
Yes.
Is that the question?
Yes.
What should be the ideal Varna? Actually, whether it is Varna or Ashrama, that is secondary. Of course, all of us, by nature, are meant to fit in some particular Varna. It's not that Srila Prabhupada, by going to the West, wanted everyone to be Brahmana. Although initially his focus was on, and Prabhupada explains, he said, I was traveling around just trying to capture people to become Brahmanas. Of course, we know that Vaishnava Brahmana, but mentioned, as I told earlier. So, what Varna, there's a whole science in terms of what is meant to be our particular Varna. It's not that we should strive to attain a particular Varna. We should strive rather to understand what is by nature our Varna. And there's a whole scientific process by which we can understand. This is explained in the Shastra, explained by our acharyas. It's nicely explained by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur that before the age of 15, in a village, the duty and responsibility of elder brahmanas is to actually determine and to fix the varna of a young boy. And generally, that varna will very much be connected with and based on the family in which he is born. Although we all know, as taught by Srila Prabhupada, as supported in Shastra also, that it is not absolute. That because I'm born in a Brahmana family, that automatically I will become a Brahmana. But that is one of the actually indications. There are four main criteria that need to be followed to help determine the varna of an individual, and one of them has to do with family lineage, in what family I'm born in, who my grandparents were, and going back as many, generations as possible. It's one of four criterias. The other three being by astrological chart, another is by psychological test, and another is by observation. So the point being that because most of us, and that's a major challenge, most of us are living in unnatural environment, the whole modern lifestyle, whole modern society. That's one of many reasons why it's important to come back to a more simple and natural village lifestyle where one's varna more easily becomes understood by ourselves and by others as well. Of course, we should be careful not to become overly hung up, so to speak, or overly concerned or overly obsessed with varna and ashrama. Bhakti, the activities of devotional service, becoming devotees, is what is essential. And until we re-establish more natural living style, living arrangement, then the question of our varna will remain, I would say, problematic. Um, so we should not be endeavoring to develop a particular varna. The varna should mm, should manifest itself. I would say the more natural lifestyle we live, and the more we live in a natural environment, then our varna will come out. And of course, in Kali Yuga, that's another factor. Varnas are much more mixed than before. So, so these subject matters, I mean, the whole subject matter of Varnashram, for that matter, needs to be taken up kind of like gradually, and we should not be fanatic about it, but we should understand at the same time that it has its importance, I would say its great importance, and that Srila Prabhupada wanted us to, I mean, he warned us about modern day way of living, the whole modern industrial uh, a lifestyle, which is um, which is very problematic and Prabhupada predicted will not be able to sustain. So better to start, on a small scale. I would just close on this point that I've made a few times. I humbly request devotees to read this book speaking about Varnasrama, and I don't have with me here, but we're coming out with a website as well as an app within the next few weeks, actually, beginning of May, where you can take a note of it, although it's not officially, it will be launched at the beginning, www.mvv, which is short for Make Vrindavan Villages .global. That's mvv.global, a website that will have various information, and also an app that before the end of the month, you can start looking for that app, either in Android or iPhone also. The name of the app is Divine Shelter. So look for Divine Shelter. There's all kinds of information. You'll be in terms of gradually, some of them. Jaidev Prabhu, if Jaidev is not far away, he can maybe share with you this one link. This one link that we have on this card. I'm not sure how it can be shared. I can share this.
On the chat, Maharaj.
Oh, okay. So there's one link which is on this card here. You have that link with one of the members that will be shared with everyone.
Yes, Maharaj.
Oh.
Uh,
Yeah.
By the way, Maharaj,
so
is this, I'm sorry, Maharaj.
Go ahead.
Can I introduce this your courses? What you are talking about, like Varnashram certification courses? Can I show them at this point? It is your project, right?
Certificate courses.
Yeah, speaking about Varnashram, it is your.
I'm not
project?
aware of Varnashram.
All right, that's okay. From
You
Florida.
can show it to the devotees.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure whether this is your project, but
yeah,
this one. Then there is this idea for the Kshatriya school.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's the same book, and that's one devotee in America actually is introducing this. Yeah, I'm sure that's also, that's all bona fide.
This is it.
One devotee in America is introducing this course. I think he has his own website, etc.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah, that book. That's the book. Yeah. So thank you very much, Prabhu, for the opportunity.
Yes, Maharaj. Maharaj, this is Nitya Mataji. Nitya Leela Mataji, where are you? Maybe you can take over. Nitya Leela Mataji, can you take over? Where is she? Nitya Leela Mataji, you are not audible.
Unmute. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I am highly privileged and honored and congratulations everyone to be part of this fantastic, incredible, much needed session on Devya Varnashrama Dharma. Thank you so much, Guru Deva, for giving us your precious association. And His Grace Bimla Prasad Prabhuji for connecting us across the borders. We are highly grateful.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yes.
Thank you, Maharaj. I mean, there will never be shortage of questions.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. All glories to His Holy Bhakti Raghava Swami Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dharma Pranam Maharaj.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
His Holy Bhakti Raghava Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna Dharma Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
He's trying to see how to end here.